Do you ever think about the possibility of parallel universes? Like an alternate reality to our own where everything is the exact same except a few minor details? Maybe in another world Pokemon Z or Pokemon Stars were actually released. Maybe Pikablue really exists. And maybe we're the only Earth in the entire multiverse that has to look at these monstrosities. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's second DLC, the Indigo Disc, was finally released on December 14th, 2023. Or, if you want to address it by its full name, The Hidden Treasure of Area Zero Part 2, the Indigo Disc. Good luck fitting that on a birth certificate. This time, our adventure takes us to the expansive Blueberry Academy, apparently located in the middle of the ocean somewhere in the Unova region. I don't know, right there. But before I get too into details, here's the obligatory spoiler warning. I'm not going to discuss the entire storyline of the DLC in this video, but I will be mentioning a lot of mechanics and showing footage, so if you'd like to avoid that, play the DLC, then come watch this video. Pokemon Home. On the surface, a simple tool used to move and organize your Pokemon, but look deeper and you'll find it's so much more. Over 200 challenges to complete, multiple dexes to fill out, and of course, enough room for a full level 100 living dex. This is a series of videos chronicling my journey over the next few months as I attempt to do the impossible, 100% complete Pokemon Home. I think the best way to talk about this DLC is with a section I'm calling the good, the bad, and the irrelevant. Journal of Neuroscience, please don't sue me. I'm going to be breaking down several talking points from this DLC and deciding whether it's a positive thing, a negative thing, or something so irrelevant that I'll probably forget about it by the time this video's out. And before you attack me for some of these opinions, just remember that I'm a normal guy making YouTube videos. I know nothing about competitive viability or Pokemon meta. I just like looking at cool creatures and completing video games. First up, the story. It was surprisingly good. Nothing groundbreaking by any means, but it did continue the story that was started in the first DLC, the Teal Mask. Plus, Kieran is such a 4chan edgelord that every time he's on screen, you can't help but laugh. Just enough storyline and fun tasks to keep you entertained, but it doesn't overstay its welcome, unlike the Sword and Shield post-game. Yikes. Game Freak also made the awesome choice to make 25 legendaries catchable in this DLC, but they're all shiny locked. Game Freak brought back some fan-favorite legendaries like Cubfu, Meloetta, even Lunala and Solgaleo, but for some reason, shiny locked every single one of them. Why? No, really, why? You could catch a majority of these back in Sword and Shield through Dynamax adventures, and they weren't shiny locked then, so what changed? So close to being an amazing addition to this DLC, but they just had to screw it up. Speaking of messing up, we received no additional box space. I'm a weird guy who likes to keep living dexes on every single game. I know, I need to get tested. But after catching a full Paldean living dex, a full Kitakami living dex, and now the full Blueberry living dex, I have 3 boxes left. I know I could just transfer these to home, but I prefer keeping them on their native game. Personally, I'm not a game developer, so I can't say how much memory is allocated for Pokemon storage. But from a design standpoint, if you're going to have 3 different dexes with a total of 840 Pokemon, you need more than 32 boxes. However, I will give the designers credit for the massive addition of the Blueberry point system. This right here is what we call fun. If it's not clear through my videos yet, I'm addicted to completing tasks and little challenges, so you throw some easy to complete, repeating tasks my way that notify me every time it's completed, I'm in heaven. Perfect game. Even the rewards for spending the Blueberry points are awesome, especially the item printer, which might honestly be my favorite part of this DLC. I'm a sucker for cool Pokeballs like the Safari Ball and Sport Ball. I'm also a sucker for gacha games, so this has me written all over it. Free gold bottle caps, free ability patches, master balls, and of course, XP candy. Now on the other hand, stellar Terra types are pretty irrelevant. I think everybody knows that Terra types are a gimmick that will stay in the Generation 9 games, so who really cares? Maybe it has competitive advantages, but I know basically nothing about that side of Pokemon, so it's irrelevant to me. I've also definitely seen some major complaints about the frame rate and graphics of this DLC, and while I do agree that this game can be pretty hideous at times, it's not any worse in the DLC than it is the base game, so I don't think these complaints are really fair. Overall, I really do think this was a great DLC, and I actually felt like it made the base game as a whole much more complete. While the Teal Mask and the Kitakami region were a fun distraction, the Blueberry Academy feels much more like its own fleshed out game. Plus, you could catch Snivy and Rowlet in the wild. What more could you possibly want? When it comes to 100% completing Pokemon Home, the Indigo Disc adds several new challenges. Registering Applin and its 4 evolutions, registering Ogerpon, registering Okidogi, Munkidori, and Fezandipity? I don't know. Registering Ursaluna and Blood Moon Ursaluna, registering Terapagos, and trading Poltegeist and Sinistcha. As you could probably tell, some of these challenges are actually related to the first DLC, but since they were added alongside the Indigo Disc, I'm putting them in this video. Obviously, we have a new dex to complete containing 240 Pokemon, and completing it is actually really enjoyable. Something about catching all the starters in the wild feels so wrong, but at the same time is one of the coolest things about Scarlet and Violet now. And that's all the specifics for this DLC. If you want to get specific, this DLC does give you the ability to catch Meloetta, meaning you could complete the challenge, Register Meloetta. And with how easy shiny hunting is in Gen 9, completing the challenge, Register Shiny Metagross, can also be completed relatively fast. And while you're at it, go ahead and register 7 colors of Minior and register 9 forms of Alcremie, since they're easily catchable in the terrarium. And with the item printer, you can easily complete a majority of the deposit Pokemon in blank ball challenges. Basically, this DLC makes a lot of challenges a little easier, so it absolutely gets my seal of approval. Plus, my favorite animals are turtles, so need I say more?